The bell above the cafe door chimed softly as the rain pressed its cold hands against the windows, but it was the small, trembling voice that cut through the hum of espresso machines and low conversations. "Mister, can you fix my toy? It was our last gift from Dad." The millionaire looked up from his untouched coffee, startled, not by the words, but by the weight they carried. In front of him stood a little girl no older than 7, clutching a broken wind-up rabbit with one ear dangling by a thread, her knuckles white as if letting go might erase the memory attached to it. He hadn't planned to be there long. The cafe was a place he used to disappear, anonymous, neutral, safe from boardrooms and expectations. His tailored coat and expensive watch meant nothing to the girl. She looked at him the way children look at strangers who might be kind. Behind her hovered a woman with tired eyes and a posture that suggested apologies had become second nature. "I'm so sorry," the woman said quickly. "Lily, we shouldn't bother," but the man had already crouched to the girl's level, the city's noise dimming as he took the toy gently into his hands. "It's okay," he said, surprised by how steady his voice sounded. He turned the rabbit over, listening to the faint rattle inside. "What happened to it?" Lily sniffed. "It stopped hopping," she whispered. "Dad said it always hops back if you're patient." The words struck him harder than any headline ever had. He asked Lily's name again, as if anchoring himself to the moment, then nodded. "Let me take a look." He wasn't a fixer of toys. He fixed problems with money, solved conflicts with contracts, smoothed rough edges with donations that came with press releases. But the rabbit's simple mechanism made sense to him in a way spreadsheets never had. The spring had slipped, the key was bent. He asked the barista for a small screwdriver, and the cafe watched, curious, quiet, as the man with the expensive watch carefully opened the rabbit's back like it was something sacred. While he worked, Lily talked. She talked about how her dad used to bring them to the park on Sundays, how he laughed too loud, how he promised the rabbit would be Lily's brave buddy when he couldn't be around. The woman, her mother, stood silent, blinking back tears she'd clearly practiced hiding. The man listened without interrupting, a strange ache growing behind his ribs. He thought of his own father, a man who had been present only in lessons about winning and losing, never in small rituals or soft promises. The rabbit clicked back into place. When he wound the key, it hopped across the table, crooked ear bobbing bravely. Lily gasped, then laughed, a sound so pure it felt like a forgiveness he didn't deserve. She hugged the rabbit to her chest and looked up at him with wide eyes. "You fixed it," she said, like a miracle had just happened. He smiled, unsure when his face had learned how to do that without calculation. "Thank you," the mother said, her voice steady now. "I didn't know how to explain to her if it couldn't be fixed." He waved it off, embarrassed. "It just needed a little patience," he replied, echoing Lily's words before he realized it. The mother noticed, and something softened between them. They sat together for a few minutes, minutes that stretched. He learned her name was Sarah. Her husband, Daniel, had died 8 months earlier after a sudden illness. The toy had been bought on a rushed hospital gift shop run, a promise made in a hallway that smelled like antiseptic and fear. "We're okay," Sarah said quickly, as if the world demanded that reassurance. "Just learning." He wanted to do something. He felt the familiar itch to write a check, to fix this the way he fixed everything else. But Lily was busy making the rabbit hop along the windowsill, narrating its bravery to the rain. The moment didn't ask for grand gestures, it asked for presence. So he stayed. When he finally stood to leave, Lily tugged his sleeve. "Mister," she said, "what's your name?" He hesitated, then told her. The name meant nothing to her, and that was the gift. She smiled. "Thank you for fixing brave buddies," she said solemnly, as if bestowing a title. He walked out into the rain changed, though he couldn't yet name how. The city felt louder, sharper. That night, he dreamed of a rabbit hopping back every time patience was offered. He woke with a decision he hadn't made in a boardroom. In the weeks that followed, he returned to the cafe more often than habit required. Sometimes Lily was there, sometimes not. When she was, she waved like they shared a secret. He learned that Sarah worked 2 jobs and still fell short. He learned that grief didn't move in straight lines. He listened. He asked before offering help. He arranged small things quietly, repairing a broken heater, introducing Sarah to a flexible employer, funding a community workshop without attaching his name. He also began volunteering at that workshop on Saturdays, teaching basic repairs, bikes, radios, toys. At first, the staff didn't believe he'd keep coming. He did. He learned the names of children who learned patience by watching springs and gears behave when treated kindly. He learned that being needed was different from being important. One afternoon, Lily brought the rabbit again. Its ear had finally fallen off. She looked worried, but not afraid. "It's okay," she said before he could speak. "We can fix it together." They did. The rabbit came back crooked but stronger, stitched with bright thread Lily chose herself. Years passed, quietly. The man still ran companies, still made deals, still carried the weight of a world that rewarded speed over care. But there was a room in his life now where patience lived. Sarah found her footing. Lily grew taller, braver, her laughter still a compass. The café changed owners, the rain kept coming. On a day that felt ordinary, Lily, now older, handed him a card. Inside was a drawing of a rabbit hopping toward a sun. "Thank you for staying," it read. He realized then that nothing he'd built compared to what had been mended. The inspiring truth settled gently. Some things don't need saving with money. They need hands willing to pause, hearts willing to listen, and the courage to fix what we can while we sit with what we can't. And sometimes, the smallest request at a cafe can teach a powerful person how to be human again.